Hello everyone! Now we are back to another episode of the Lore and Gold Journey. I have selected Ashenvale to be our new zone that we are exploring this week. I'm really excited to tell you about this one because satyrs and kind of their lore, and also the Night Elves, are some of my favorite characters in the game. And so hearing them battle, hearing this beautiful music, it's all just a grand part of this zone that I really want to explore. So let's take a look at the zone, where it's located, and also some of the lore behind it. Ashenvale is to the northwest or just west of Orgrimmar. It is more in touch with Azshara, because Azshara is where the Highborn lived for the longest time, and obviously that part of the landmass was bigger in that area. So, the Highborn actually lived and walked about Ashenvale as well. And that kind of explains why there's a stream of Naga and Night Elves and also old temples throughout the zone. It's really cool. You can actually see it to the right of the screenshot I have here is the temple like just sticking up out of the water. That's all over the place here. So basically that's the baseline. Some of the Highborn were actually convinced that the Burning Legion, Sargeras, was a god. And this is where Xavius comes into play. Xavius was known by his people as the strongest Highborn. That kind of gave him some pull in convincing individuals to start to praise Sargeras. And so he actually convinced his people, some of them anyway, to create a portal that allowed some of the Burning Legion in. He was in contact with Sargeras, and at some point, he had failed a mission that Sargeras had given to him in the War of the Ancients. The major downside of this to Xavius is when he failed, his spirit was collected and tortured by Sargeras for quite some time until he was re-released as the first satyr. This satyr curse spreads to other individuals. It's more likely associated with those who are praising Sargeras and interacting with Xavius, not just spreading like an infection to everyone. One interesting thing about Xavius in his new form is that he was granted additional demonic powers. He was actually known for carving out his own eyes, replacing them with these black crystals for magical powers. It was a very interesting way of life. I really don't understand it that much. However, this ties in with this zone because Xavius lived here. He lived in his small temple in the middle of the zone. A lot of the War of the Ancients happened on this region of Azeroth. So Kalimdor was the one who was shattered the most of all of the major zones. And unfortunately, now we have just a fraction of what Kalimdor used to be. And Xavius took part in that battle. Obviously he lost. He came back in Legion, died again after trying to keep Malfurion asleep and corrupting the Emerald Dream into the Emerald Nightmare. And we saw that in the Wailing Caverns. The Emerald Nightmare is existent there as well. But either way, that's the beginning, and we'll move on from here. I know this isn't just about Xavius, but we will look into other parts of the lore of the zone as well. The reason why I bring up Xavius is because Xavius, first satyr, satyrs are in the zone. Demons are also brought by the satyrs. They created that portal that allowed the demons to come in. Now they're throughout the zone. They don't really offer a grand explanation of why they're in the zone. They do a little bit, but not as explicit as how I described it. So what we're going to do now is we'll get into the questing, and we will see what the zone is actually all about. We have the Alliance and the Horde constantly fighting each other in this zone, specifically to get access to the land. The Alliance want to keep the Horde out because they're just destroying all the trees, and the Horde want to take over the land for all of the trees. So, I mean, we're going to see how that plays out in just a moment here. I hope you enjoy. The first order of business is helping out the orcs with clearing out some of the Kaldori that are fighting over their area here, and also bringing some of a dead orc's blood to a shaman. Who knows what they'll do with it? The actual reason why this orc gave me his blood is because he refuses to fail any mission that he's on part of. And even though he was dying, the shaman was able to bring his spirit back to life to give us direction on where the Alliance's captain is located. He seems to be hiding somewhere, and we're going to check on where that is. Alright, so Gorat's spirit led us to where the captain is located. He's on this little island, and what Gorat is going to do is kind of entice him to come out. Easy enough. The Horde wanted to claim one specific base, the Silverwind Refuge, from the Alliance, and they had a lot of trouble doing it, simply because there's a large overpopulation of animals than what would be considered of a typical zone. And the lore reason for this is actually that the Alliance, or the Night Elves, stopped inhabiting this zone for quite some time to allow that population to grow so they could defend it. Obviously, it didn't work. The main turning point of this battle was creating Tide Rests. This Horde mage created a water elemental that it made the other water elementals become enraged, which turned against the Alliance. And that actually ended up winning them the battle. However, the Horde mage that created the elemental died. So, they just kind of sent me on a quest to go out here and kill all of the elementals now because they can't turn it off. Now I'm supposed to clear out some of the Astronar soldiers that are surrounding Astronar, and then also collect some of this dirt. I don't know what it's for. It's from a goblin who's asking me to collect it. It's probably for an explosive, let's be real. Why am I not surprised? Of course, in goblin fashion, we have to blow up our enemies as well. So we're flying over Astronar, which is a primary city of the Night Elves, and also the Alliance in general when you're questing here. And we're just kind of bombing it. It's great. We also took time to kill furbolgs, reclaim treasure from who the furbolgs had killed, and also save a random druid that we found down here that the furbolgs thought was actually a real bear and not a Tauren. I don't know why they didn't transform out of bear form. However, maybe they forgot they could do that? I don't know. I also helped control one of the fire elementals of the Earthen Ring. They are just a group of elementals, and they also have a lot of followers that are trying to work in harmony with one another. And fire seems to have gotten out of hand, and so they wanted me to take control and take them out. So what they did is they empowered me a little bit to take out Lord Magmathar. I'm really happy that me being a higher level than this quest didn't make me one-shot this elemental. It would have been kind of boring, to be honest. One thing that I actually really like about this quest is that not only am I helping them control this fire, I'm stopping the harm from the environment. Not in a traditional sense of like, I'm an environmentalist and I care so much about the environment that it applies to video games, but just also like as a horde, normally I'm looking at this from an alliance perspective, and that's me trying to reduce how much damage is done to the environment from like a night elf perspective. But in this case, I'm coming from the horde side. I want to reduce the damage to the environment anyway, even though I'm here to collect the lumber to help build up these new buildings that we're creating and trying to survive on this wild new lands that we have encountered. I have been sent to kill a couple of demons. There's really a lot of them. Someone should take care of that. Of course they thought I could do it, so they sent me over here to take care of their business. The second part of this quest was going into this tunnel, and I'm really relieved that the boss I had to kill is just a straight line from once you hit the bottom of the tunnel. I swear I get so lost in these things that I'm very happy that it's just that straight line. I would have been down there for like 4 minutes trying to figure out how to get out of there. Alright, time to close some demon portals and kill some Xavian satyrs. Xavian might ring a bell because it's related to Xavius. I stopped getting quests, and so I figured I'd missed one, so I went back to where I started and got an additional one. This quest has me ride this Kodo. I want to keep it. He is a thick boy.
What do you want? Me not that kind of orc. Me busy. Leave me alone.
Collecting natural oils from rotting slimes really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm kind of concerned at what the Horde is providing our folks in the beauty department. You know what? It's probably for undead. That would make so much more sense. It's a shame we lost our friend, but yeah, I was right. Boy do be thick. Now, in a final effort of surviving the war, we are chucking hellfire markers at targets and having giant hellfire explosions happen on the mobs that are attacking, and sometimes it doesn't work. It's on a really long cooldown. I learned if you want to light this signal fire with a little bit more fire flare, use your interaction button. You can just yeet so many little bombs in there, and the NPC doesn't even know what to do. He just keeps on spawning in. And then I'm sure he'll say something funny. they couldn't see it from Orgrimmar. It wasn't bright enough. While doing this quest, I realized that the highlight of the tree shows where it's going to break. It makes me feel like a martial artist who's going to break a tree at a specific spot, or a brick, a cement block, whatever the case may be, but it's already been perforated so it breaks more easily. I don't know, I thought it was kind of funny. I checked on the quest log and noticed one of them wasn't complete. However, I completed that quest chain. But the final quest is in Orgrimmar. So when I'm done with this zone, I'm going to fly out to Orgrimmar and just make sure that this is the final quest so I don't miss any. Okay, I've made it to the last quest hub, the Zoramgar outpost. And this escort quest where I have to lead him to this little spot on the water to summon something is taking forever. He is walking way slower than normal walking speed, and it's kind of just awful. But either way, we're going to finish up this quest area. It's mostly just kind of setting up the zone to be safe for the new outpost, and then build new ships so that we can actually use this port. So that's most of the story. We are at the point where we're finding Naga, so we will be looking into the Black Fathom Deeps. Okay, just doing this quest, I had to stop for a moment. I've never seen an attackable school of fish. That was anticlimactic. I was hoping it would drop fish or something. Oh well. Even with running Black Fathom Deeps, I don't know, maybe 30 times since I've started playing this game, back in Wrath of the Lich King, I'm a little bit surprised that I've never actually entered Black Fathom Deeps through the front door. I've been in the zone, I've been near the zone, I've looked for the entrance. I have a vague memory of me being young and checking on where it was and never finding it. But I've never been down here before. It is pretty much the same layout as the dungeon itself, but yeah, it's pretty intriguing to see it from the outside, I guess. You don't get all of the old god stuff or even the old ritualists from before, but here it is. Cool. The lore of the Black Fathom Deeps is that it used to be a temple for the Night Elven people, specifically for their goddess Elune. And over time, once the Sundering happened, it got flooded, it disappeared, no one could find it. Now the Twilight cultists, they could actually hear whispers coming from the Black Fathom Deeps. So they founded it once again, and they found a pet down there that is actually a creation of the old gods. And so they sacrificed many, many innocents to help nurture it and create it, and now their entire goal is to bring it back to life and have it destroy things, I suppose. Ashenvale, for the lore anyway, is completed. I was really happy to get to come in here and see how beautiful it is. It is actually one of the most memorable zones from Classic WoW that I have. I've never done it on the Horde side before, but I have done the quests many times as Alliance. Here we go. We did it. I'm excited to go into the next zone, but first we're going to look into the gold making in this zone. Okay, I did say I would complete this quest, and it seems like there's a little bit of a cliffhanger here. So Durak, the guy in the very far back of this stupid cave you gotta run all the way through 3 different times, he's a little bit suspicious, I guess. I'm also being told to go back to him again, so I'll meet you there. You don't believe me? I'm gonna show you. If I have to suffer through this, so do you. You're gonna get to watch me slowly meander through and see what's going on with Durag. Hold on. Durak slain? He does have a little quest thing in his profile too, like if you look at his icon. What's he doing? Yeah, it doesn't sound suspicious at all, Durak. Mind telling me what's going on here? Oh. What a dick. No wonder why he was telling people to use fell magic. He's a demon the whole time. Well, I guess we have to go back to Orgrimmar. Again. Yeah, Etrig. We're proud of you. There we go. We actually got the Ashenvale quest done. That's really nice. I've never done it on the Horde side, as I said earlier. I know this isn't in Ashenvale, but I thought the lighting was really cool, so I'm going to do my outro here. I hope you really enjoyed the video. This is kind of a fun one. They had some funny references in there, and also I may have snuck in a little bit of RuneScape too, which I'm a fan of. What I would like to say is, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you aren't already. I'm at 98 subscribers as the time I made this video, and getting to that big 100 would be really cool. And also, what I would like to know is, what zone do you think we should do next? I have a few neighboring zones that I'd like to look at, such as Darkshore, Fellwood, and Stone Talon Mountains. Why don't you just leave that in a comment below? Please. Pretty please? Bye-bye.